My name is Alex Rodov. I'm a project management professional and accredited certified Scrum Master, 4 years, Microsoft Project MVP, and international speaker at the PMI congresses. And I'm happy to present this Project Online demo for you today. And we're looking forward to getting some of you interested in watching this further and subscribing to our YouTube channel with the Project Online demos and other thought leadership webinars. And there you go, we're going to get started now. All right. Just checking my clicker here. Okay, a few words about Trusted IT Group, where I would like to mention that we have a few offerings and services around Microsoft 365, and you have in front of you a few of them listed: Microsoft Project and Office 365 and other business applications. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but anything related to Office and Microsoft 365 and cloud solutions for Microsoft, we're the gold partner of Microsoft, and happy to assist any of our customers in that journey. A few locations of our company, Trusted IT Group. We're global and happy to service our customers around the globe. Happy customers of ours, and we're proud of keeping our promises and truly be trusted, and hopefully that you're going to join us as well. And there you go. So as I promised, we're not going to spend too much time on any of the on anything that is not related to a demo, but here we go. There's a Project Online homepage. And even though I have this page loaded here, let me actually go to a very basic Office 365 page and kind of get you here from that page. So if I simply go to office.com, right, I just type the office.com URL, and it lands me on my Office homepage. And here I can go to office.com, right? So here's on office.com. I can look at my homepage, right? And then this particular way I can get into the SharePoint Online side. I can get into all kinds of applications. If you click on this Office 365 homepage, I can look at just a plain vanilla type of Office applications. Here I can go to Teams. I can go to my SharePoint. I can go to my Outlook, look at my emails, Dynamics, etc. So you may not see all of the apps listed here. These are just the most common ones that you would use. And you can click on the Explore All Your Apps from here, or on the upper left corner, I'll click on that waffle and just click on All Apps. This would essentially load to you all the possible apps, and they're going to be listed here. And if you do have Project Online subscription, and you do have this Project Online subscription license assigned to you as a user. Right now I am logged in as Alex Rodov, right? If I have the license assigned to me, I would be able to see my project here, right? So there's a project application, and I can click here and get to my project application. So when I click here, I'm going to get to the project homepage. This is where I'll be able to see kind of organization-wide projects that I may have access to. And right now here I have access to all kinds of different projects. I can have the projects that are listed here that are recently being used by me, and I can do it here. But I essentially like to actually do is to go to my project web app, which is the core homepage of Project Online. And instead of going to my like default environment here, I'm going to go to my demo environment, which is the environment that we call First Love. Hopefully you'll get the similar experience by interfering with this environment, and you'll get in love with this. Okay. All right. So what do we do here? We are going to go through the project lifecycle. So we're going to start from the idea of how to collect these ideas from different locations, or maybe even using different apps or mobile apps. How to collect these ideas throughout the organizations, funnel them through some sort of a process, and then create the project. And then when we create the project, we'll be able to go through the execution of this project, and then look at some reports and see how we can manage our portfolio of projects more efficiently. So this is the home page, and as you can see, this is very much not looking like a white SharePoint out of the box. So this is kind of configured, right? Configured demo environment, and we purposely made this look like on a dark background with white font, letters and links. So building the case that it a lot of times may be confusing when people look at the SharePoint, and it's kind of hard to use the SharePoint. We can turn this away from being looked like a SharePoint, or configure this in the way that it looks completely or very much different, rather than just regular SharePoint. So anyway, let's start with the idea, right? And we have this ideation hub for the purpose of creating these ideas, where we would collect all the ideas, and we can make the ideas to be able to create on different devices, different simple ways of putting some few ideas in here. Even though streamline some of these ideas right from your service desk, like when you have some requests are coming in an organization, we can make this stream of those ideas to fly right into this ideation hub. And again, you can call it ideation hub. We can change the name of this basically object, but we can either click on the ideation hub up here at the top, or we can go up on the left navigation and click on this ideation hub. Doesn't matter where we click. Finally, I'm clicking on this, and I'm getting to the ideation hub. So here we would get to new ideas. We would get to we can have new ideas, general QA documents, and all kinds of additional bells and whistles. But essentially, when you click on the new ideas, we're going to have this different buckets, right? And then we already conveniently grouped them by different departments right here. So in this case, I'm going to create a new idea, and here in the new idea, I'm going to say, well, I'm going to create a project name. Just give me my new project. I would say new specific project for our PMO. I'll just make it like this: specific project for PMO. Okay, and let's make it to start. Let's make this start next week. Okay, let's make start December 10th, and let's just say arbitrarily we're just gonna put $100,000 for this project, and expected benefits. We'll just make it $150,000. Okay, so this is the initial input into our idea. We can expand this and make this much more comprehensive, and you can collect as many fields you'd like, some additional information that you may want to use for your project charter or maybe something else, and I'll just say a specific description. Okay, so we can just catch this later on. So anyway, we're gonna save this for now, and basically in our sales and marketing, place, we're going to see that we now have this specific project, right? And now it's listed here. So what we can do now is, well, we can edit this and see what kind of additional information we may want to add or change. But essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to, you know, see how this project is going to automatically be created in the actual project. Let me just go back here for a second. So let me go to here. This is the ideation hub here. Let me check on this place. And if I click on this new project request, I wonder if I see it here as well. Project, personal hub. Okay. All right. So I'm going to look at my portfolio and see if I have this project created. It will take a little bit of time to actually create this specific project. Well, actually, didn't take that much time. So specific project for PMO, there you go. So right now we have this project automatically created based on our ideas, and you can also specify whether you'd like to use some sort of additional governance for your ideas. So to make sure that they are getting approved before they are created here in the Microsoft Project Online. But basically, this is like a pre-step ideation intake kind of process where you'd be able to collect all kinds of thoughts from the teams out there and funnel them through this list of ideas and then push them to create the actual project. So now, since this project being pushed to be created as a real portfolio item, where this is a line item here as a project for PMO, we said we wanted to start on December 10th. It pushed the start date to December 10th. If we can click on this, we would be able to also see additional details. All right, so what do we see here? So here we would be able to see the workflow steps that this project would have to go through. And we can see at which step this project is at right now. So current workflow stage is proposed idea. So now, right now we're kind of further down building the business case. And again, I'm showing you sort of a long way of getting to the project execution stage. You may or may not want to use this rigor in the governance of you know, and having this all steps in place. I'm just showing you like a demo of those capabilities so you can understand like what are those capabilities for you to be able to use. And if I just scroll down a little bit, I can click on this all workflow stage, and I can see, you know, some details like we're now at this proposed idea stage, and in progress we entered this stage in such and such date, and these are the steps to follow in the project lifecycle until we actually, you know, get to the closing of the project. So this would allow you to build the governance around your project portfolio lifecycle, where you'll be able to run your ideas from idea, you know, putting them into the ideation hub or intake process, and then from there be able to put it down into the path for the execution and follow the execution and other governance workflow steps. Anyway, let's check out some other details here. So project details. So here on the left side, we have all kinds of detail pages that we can switch between. And remember, we had this specific description. So it traveled all the way from our idea over to here. It traveled with this date. So it also, for some reason, estimated the finish date as to January 25th. Why would you think that would, you know, that be? Why would it would calculate? It somehow calculated this to be on the January 25th of the 2019. So how did this happen? So the answer to this question is in the next project detail page, where we can look at the schedule. If we look at the schedule, we can understand that this project has been built based on the template. So this template was pre-built in advance. And when we created the project, we specified like which template we would like to use. We already baked it into our intake process, but right now it's using this template. And here at the project roll-up level, if I just roll up the whole thing into one line, I can see that it's based on the schedule template, and assuming that we start on December 10th, we're going to be finished in January 25th based on this dynamics of the schedule, right? So what I can do now, I can go and change some of these dates and see how the timeline will stretch and how it will actually use the dependencies that we have set up here. Just zoom in a little bit so you can see those dependencies. So these are the dependencies that were baked in to this template, and we will be able to see how it will impact the schedule when we actually, put some meaningful information based on the information that we have that is relevant to this project. So I can go now. I can click on edit, and just keep in mind I'm using the browser in this case. I'm not even using Microsoft browser. I'm just using Chrome for this, meaning that you can use this application by using any browser, including Chrome or IE or any other browser that you may be accustomed to. All right, so let's just see if I would change some of these dates. If I change this review contract, this legal team, it takes forever them to review this contract. To be safe, I'd like to give them 2 weeks. And I can even point here and say 2 weeks, 2W, and the W will be taken by the application as weeks. Let's see if it will do this. So there you go, 2 weeks. Now it's, instead of 1 day, it's going to stretch from 12/10 through 12/21, right? And it pushed this whole task for 2 weeks. It increased the work estimate on this project, on this task. And look at the highlighted items here, meaning that whatever you see highlighted based on this action that I did, which was changing the duration from 1 day to 2 weeks, it changed all these dates based on the dependencies. So now I have a completely different schedule. Now I have the estimated finish date of the entire project being pushed from January to February, and on and on and on. As soon as I start putting some real information into these dates, into this schedule, I can very quickly build my schedule that is going to be very much realistic to reality, and I'll be able to push some of these tasks up on the timeline here. And here's the timeline. So here in the timeline, I can push some of the specific tasks from my project. So I can look at this and then quickly grab this picture and then use it in the email or distribute it somewhere where I'd like to, bring awareness about these milestones among our stakeholders. And I can also fix this font, which is black on black, doesn't make much sense for me. I can turn it into white on black. So here I can simply do this. I can simply turn this into white font, and there you go. Now we have the very nicely built timeline. Let me actually show you how you can quickly grab a snapshot of this timeline. Basically, I like using the quickly just grab a snipping tool. Just type snipping tool, all the Windows 10 and I think all the versions of Windows, they also have the snipping tool. Just grab a new image, grab the screenshot quickly, and there you go. I have my picture, Control C, or just copy, and then I can open my email. There's my email, and I can just paste it here, and there you go. And I can send it communications plan, or this high-level milestone plan to my stakeholders, and quickly bring to their attention, this is the project plan, this is where we're going to start, this is where we're going to finish, yada yada. I mean, this is very, very quickly an easy way to get to some very nicely formatted timelines that are based on the real dates that you would put in your schedule. Okay, so if we would save this for now and click on save here, and I don't want to necessarily publish this because publishing will actually update the reports. I don't want to update the reports just yet. But what I do want to do is to replace some of these resources with actual resources. So I do have a bunch of, oops, I just scrolled to the right accidentally. I do have this resource column where I have a lot of these generic resources assigned to all of these tasks. So what I want to do, what I'd like to do is to replace some of these resources with some of the generic, some of the actual real people. So I know who is in the legal team is going to work on this. I know who is going to work on the project, who's being a project manager. I know who needs to be an analyst. So let me actually do that. So how do I do that? I go to Project tab here and click on the Build a Team. So I need to specify who are those team members that I'd like to assign to my project. So right now I have a bunch of these generic resources, but I know that I'd like to assign someone from the legal team. And I can match, and on the left side, out of my entire resource pool, I want to see who does have this legal skills to be available for this project. So I click on match, and it will bring this three people. So I'm going to say, well, you know what? I like Lucas. I like Lucas more. Okay, I'm going to bring Lucas and replace Lucas with the legal assistant a generic resource, meaning that all the assignments on my project are going to be replaced with Lucas. Replace. I'm going to do quickly the same for others. Clear match again developer. I'm going to bring Glenn. Replace. I'm going to also do the same for the project manager. Match who are the project managers. Here's my list of project managers. All right, I'm going to bring this person here, and I have build engineer. So match here's my list of engineers. Tom. I'm gonna have Tom assigned to my project. There you go. And now I just replaced all my generic resources with real people. Now I'm gonna save and close. After I saved and closed, you'll be able to see that all of my assignments throughout the entire project, everywhere where I had generic resources assigned. Did I click on it? Everywhere where I had generic resources assigned, I'm going to have the actual people assigned now. So now, there you go. Check this out, right? You can see that I used to have legal assistant and engineer. Oh, I still have analyst. Why is this? Did I miss the analyst? Did I miss the analyst? No, I didn't miss the analyst. I just didn't have analyst here. Maybe this is a local resource. So let me see. Yeah, analyst is probably a local resource. So we're gonna take care of the analyst later. But you can see that all others were assigned with actual real people, right? So you can see Mark here and Lucas here as a legal assistant. So now I'm ready to publish this. Once I publish this, I'm going to trigger this assignment, and this assignment will become live, and I'll be able to start reporting time, and these people will be able to start reporting time against this project. All right. So further down on the upper left corner of this project, for this project that we just created, so we just looked at the schedule, we looked at the project details, we can look at the cost details. And remember, when we created this project in the first place, we put this cost information in here, and here's the expected benefit. This is the numbers that came from the actual ideation hub, right? So at the time when we entered this information, we didn't lose this information. So it means that we have very much a lot of capabilities to avoid this double entry. Once you keep the information, we're gonna keep this information and avoid this double entry. Doesn't matter, at which point we're putting this information in. All right. I'd like to kind of skip the 6TI integration. I'd like to talk about this separately. But here's the strategic information part where it's interesting to see how we can now be able to score our project or assess our project and see how does this project align, how is this project aligned with the strategic drivers, with the strategy, right? The strategy is represented here in the form of the 5 strategic drivers. We call it the business drivers. So does my project have any impact to any of these drivers? And this is how we can say, well, it doesn't, no rating, no impact for this business driver, maybe it does have impact for improved customer satisfaction, improve employee satisfaction, that's moderate impact, improve product quality, maybe has low impact, increase market share in existing markets, maybe has a low improvement, and maybe expanding to new markets, maybe this is moderate. Anyway, we put our scorings here and we save it here. So that would allow us to have project managers to be able to score their projects against strategy. So this is something that we would be able to use further down when we would be we'll be running our portfolio analysis exercise. Okay, but this is later in the game here. So now we went through all these detail pages, and again, these detail pages are configurable. You can group the information about the project differently if you'd like. You can keep the cost information separately and maybe some project charter information separately, and you can control which ones are accessible at which governance stage. The system is very, very flexible. So you can probably guess in like, what is this project side is here for? So if I do click on this, but I'm going to get to the specific project for this PMO, and this is like the one that we were looking at today. This is going to open the project site for this project. It's kind of mouthful, project site for this project, but basically this is a collaboration space. This is where the team would be able to, again, review the high-level timeline. They'll be able to take a look at the late tasks that are going on. They'll be able to open the discussions and keep these discussions here. Largely, this is used for keeping risks and issues and action items and change requests and document repository, all in one place for this project. If you scroll down, you see that this is the site-specific project for PMO. This is exactly the project that we created in the very beginning. Automatically, it created the project template. Automatically used the template to create this project site. Automatically populated all of these default documents for this document library, and you can sync it up with your Active Directory, or you can sync it up with your folder on your laptop, and you can always be sure that these files are backed up, and you have all kinds of versioning and version history and all kinds of backup features that are aligned with all of these features for the Office 365. So you can keep your action items and issues and risks, and then be able to run some of these reports, which we're going to get to in a second, where you'll be able to look at these details. Also file change requests and follow the change request process. All right, so if I can go back to my projects here and their navigation, I can always go back to my project center and I can look at my project portfolio. Here I can expand some of these groupings, and I can see how I can get to this information. And if I scroll to the right, you'll be able to see some of these reg indicators, where some of them are calculated, some of them are more subjective than others, but it is really up to you how you may want to configure this and how you may want to calculate some of these KPIs. key performance indicators. All right, so I do want to kind of keep this webinar really short and allow maybe a few questions down the road. Before we get to the questions, I do want to show you a little bit of reports and strategy here. So I'm just going to dive into the portfolio analysis module, and this is here on the left navigation. I can see different portfolio modules here, and I can say that I can basically look into this one particularly, get into the baseline of this analysis of this scenario. And here in this scenario, I'd like to do the cost analysis first. Okay, so for the cost analysis, this is where we're saying that let's just pick, this subset of projects from our project portfolio, and let's say these are the candidates to be approved projects. But before we approve these projects, let's look at their budgets and let's run this through our project governance committee. And this is where we'll be able to pull this subset of projects, understand that these projects costs, the budget costs for this project are such and such, where this is 30,000, all the way and rolls up to $879,000 and $75,500. Okay, so what is going to happen? What is going to happen if I reduce this number? If I don't have this much money, I'd like to spend only 400,000 for this project, right? 400,000. Is it a 400,000? I think so, right? No, this is 400,000. Hit the recalculate button. Once I hit the recalculate button, it's going to run the algorithm to say, well, kick out some of these projects, keep the budget as a 400 or under 400,000, and tell me which ones the algorithm would suggest to move out, and this is based on the bang for the buck, right? For the value, and the cost. So this project is very expensive, and it gives us this much strategic value. Well, we're gonna get 73% of our strategic value by spending all this money, and we're gonna give away and surrender this 26% of the strategic value, but we're gonna save basically $500,000. And this is the efficiency frontier. It's showing you how quickly you're how much strategy you get per dollar, right? So this is basically showing you that at some point you don't get as much strategic value per dollar. So you're gonna start diminishing that strategic value by adding more dollars. So diminishing the speed at which it increases, basically. Okay. But sometimes we have to do some of this project. We can have a flexibility to force out some of this. We'll just say, I'm going to say, this project we have to do anyway. This is a merger and acquisition project. We're going to do this anyway because it's a done deal. And let's just say this CRM upgrade, this can wait, right? So we're going to force this out and say resource limitations. Let's just kick this out. Let's just push this one in, recalculate, see what happens next. So if we play this scenario and basically force some of this project out, force some of these projects in, we'll be able to see how it would change the landscape, right? So it's still going to keep it under 400,000. We're going to still get 53% of the strategic value. We're going to surrender 46% of the strategic value, but we're going to send a lot of budget for this. So these are the scenarios that you may want to play. You can save them as different scenarios and present this in front of your governance committee, where you'd be able to make decisions whether kind of go and no go for some of these projects. All right, I think this is all what I wanted to show, and now I'm going to show you some reports. So as obviously as part of the project online, the Power BI is the go-to solution for reporting, and here we have a few links that we can use to go to some of these reports. And we have the Microsoft Project Online reports. This is the included with, the content pack that is included at no charge for all the Power BI users. Most of you would already have the free version of the Power BI, so you can run this for yourself. In order for sharing these reports, you'll need to sign up for the Power BI Pro license. If you have any questions about the licensing and details of what it takes to to run a PMO with X amount of PMs and users and Power BI report consumers, just shoot an email. We'll be able to answer all these questions and give you a detailed information about how many licenses of what you need to have. Anyway, speaking of reports, you can quickly get to the information and filter through the information on these reports using this dynamic filtering and drill through capabilities. You can you see the 13 different pages of this report. You can feel free to utilize all of them, and they're all dynamic and very, very flashy. So usually executive teams are very much like these reports. They can run this on their iPads or iPhones or Droid devices, any mobile device. You can run this Power BI reports and get some quick information, quick insight into the project. What you can do also, run some of the Trusted IT content packs. We also provide some of these content packs at fairly reasonable amounts, where reasonable cost, where you'd be able to also kind of take advantage of some of this information and use additional analytics, roll-ups, aggregated values, things like that. So feel free to reach out. I'm gonna see if we can, if you have any questions in the meantime. But thanks for stopping by today, and we're happy to see you here. Let me see if we can have anything else on the slides. Yeah, feel free to reach us out at trusteditgroup.com. You can use my email, alex.rodolph@trusteditgroup.com, or send me info@trusteditgroup.com, or just call us. Okay. Also follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We're actively posting new information, news about new product releases, things like that. So we're very, very closely working with Microsoft on the product enhancements and feedback. If you do have any feedback to Microsoft, feel free to let us know. We will make sure that we're gonna deliver it to the right people at Microsoft. Okay. I don't think we have any questions at this moment. I do want to thank again everybody for watching, and stay tuned. We'll be back with more news, and if I won't talk to you this year, Happy New Year and Happy Holidays. All right. Thank you.